All right, it's starting to get good now. Chapter 13, Jet Baranov. When Vlad was 19, he dropped out of college and opened a little shop in San Francisco where he fixed people's computers. He developed this chip he could add to the motherboard to make a machine 5 times as powerful as it was before. One day, these local tough guys came into the store and told him he had to pay them protection money every month to keep them from busting up his shop. Even at 19, my dad was not a big fan of being pushed around. He hacked into their boss's computer and infected it with a virus so sophisticated that any attempt to fix it or even wipe it clean would instantly email all its data to the FBI. In the end, the boss offered to pay protection money to Vlad just to get his life back. You know the rest of the story. Vlad went on to build that one small shop into a multi-billion-dollar tech empire called Fuego. Obviously, I'm not my father. If I was, I wouldn't be paying off Brandon buckholes to keep him from exposing needles to the Pathfinders. It's the same as Vlad's dilemma, except that instead of protection money, I'm giving Brandon protection chocolate. I don't have any way to get back at him, like hacking into his computer, since we're both at the Oasis, which means we're both totally unplugged. But even if I could do that, it wouldn't change the fact that Brandon holds all the cards. First of all, he's almost as big as his father. And second, even 100 computer viruses wouldn't change the fact that if Needles gets tossed out of the shed, he has about 0% chance of surviving in the wild. If that happens, Grace will lose what's left of her mind and blame it on me. I don't care about that, as we've already established. She's number one on the list of people at the Oasis who hate my guts, so it's no skin off my butt if she has the nervous breakdown over a dead lizard. But here's the thing. I don't want Needles to be a dead lizard. He has no looks, no charms. He doesn't play. He doesn't even make eye contact. The only thing he does is eat, and only inconvenient food that you have to go all the way to Hedgeapple to buy. He's got nothing. He just hangs there in a paint tray submerged up to his nose. And yet, I really, really like him. I must be crazier than Grace. I'm not even a pet person. You think Vlad would ever allow a dog or a cat on his imported Lebanese floors or his Chinese silk rugs, shedding airborne dander into his precious computers and devices? Not with Mom away straightening teeth in the developing world 9 months out of every year. Maybe that's just it. I may be the richest kid in the richest town in the richest country, but I never had the normal experience of a pet waiting at the door for me when I come home from school. I used to be okay with that. What's some hairball measured against a billionaire's lifestyle? At least I thought I was okay. Now I know I wasn't, because now I've got Needles, who isn't cuddly or loving or fun. When he isn't eating, it's barely possible to tell if he's even alive. And I'm totally hooked. Go figure. That explains why I'm heading out into the woods beyond the zip line. Brandon is waiting there for me to make the drop-off. The loot is in my pocket. 2 Snickers and a Mounds. There's a lot of action at the zip line, mostly kids, but a handful of adults too. I guess even the parents eventually realize that it's the only non-boring thing to do around here. Hey, Jet! It's Armando, scrambling down the ladder from the first platform. I'm a little on my guard since he's kind of friends with Brandon, but I've learned that no one is actually true friends with Brandon. The guy's too rotten. What's up, Armando? He walks toward me like he's in a trance, not saying a word. At first, I think he's trying to see behind me, and then I realize it's much worse than that. His eyes are riveted on the candy bars sticking out of the back pocket of my Oasis B-hole shorts. Where'd you get those Snickers, he asks. I shrug. I have my sources. Yeah, but here, you can't get anything here. The kid is practically drooling. I say, nothing is impossible if you really want to make it happen. His next words catch me off guard. How much you want for them? I start to reply, they're not for sale, when the Vlad in me rises to the surface. Okay, I wasn't planning on selling, but why shouldn't I? To be honest, I'm a little disappointed in myself that I didn't think of it sooner. This is an entire wellness center full of starving kids deprived of any snacks beyond carrot sticks, kale shakes, and Greek yogurt. And I've got a pipeline to the grocery store in Hedgeapple. $5, I tell him. For 3? For 1. Armando's face flames. Those are 85-cent candy bars. That's the price outside the Oasis, I explain reasonably. Here, it's $5. That's a ripoff. Then don't buy. That's your privilege. Plenty of sweet stuff in the dining hall. Dates, figs, apricots, I add. I'll wait if you have to run back to your cottage for the money. Not all the kids carry cash around since it's so little to spend on. How many B-hole t-shirts can a guy own? The only other things to buy here are postcards, the old-fashioned snail mail kind your great-grandmother used to send. Of course, I can't guarantee I won't sell out before you get back. No, He reaches into his own shorts and pulls out a crumpled 5. I hold out the mounds, but he shakes his head and plucks the Snickers from my pocket. I don't do coconut. The customer is always right, I agree pleasantly. Enjoy and tell the other kids I'm open for business, but no adults and no Brandon. He frowns. Why can't I tell Brandon? That's the number 1 rule, I insist, and if anybody breaks it, I'll know. He promises and then disappears into the trees to enjoy his Snicker away from prying eyes. I'm feeling pretty good about myself. Vlad cut off my credit card after the hovercraft thing, and my cash isn't going to last forever. But now it looks like I'm going to have a steady stream of income to last me through my time here. I don't need it for myself so much, but Needle's food bill keeps going up as the little carnivore gulps down larger and larger servings of hamburger. Now I just have to survive my meeting with Brandon. You're late, he growls as I step into the clearing, and when he notices I've only got 2 candy bars for him, he goes ballistic. What are you trying to pull, rich boy? Speak up, Brandon, I say mildly. There are still a couple of Pathfinders who haven't heard you yet. He quiets down, but he's still steamed. Our deal is 3 bars, not 2. I messed up, I confess. Come back to the cottage and I'll get you the 3rd. No way, you'll get your bodyguard to beat me up. Matt? I have to laugh at the thought of the computer geek Matt has hired muscle to push my enemies around. All right, I get it, but you're going to be cooling your heels here for like 20 minutes. Not if you run, he snarls. I take my time. Bad enough I'm letting the cement head blackmail me. I don't have to do it on his schedule. Plus, let's give Armando extra time to scare me up some more business. For example, when the other kids ask him why he looks so happy and well-fed. Back at the cottage, I'm at the fridge where I've hidden my candy stash. It's in a big blue Tupperware that I've marked cucumber soup, another one of the healthy dishes that the Oasis is supposedly famous for. I pull out 4, 1 for Brandon and the rest for prospective customers. Suddenly, Matt is at my elbow. You know, the cucumber soup is pretty good here. You should give it a try. I curse myself. Stupid to be so careless. My candy operation could be over before it even gets started. Are you going to tell the Pathfinders, I ask? Maybe I should, he begins. You shouldn't, I counter quickly. You work for Fuego, and Fuego is Vlad. That means you should be on my side. I am on your side, he assures me. The question is, are you? What are you talking about, I demand. Did it ever occur to you that when you're gaming the system, the person you're really cheating is yourself? I know you think wellness is something Magnus dreamed up just to torture you, but people come from all over the world to live a healthy lifestyle where the mind and body become whole. Since you're here anyway, don't you owe it to yourself to give it a try? I stare up at him. Up until this point, Matt's been telling me things like, we're both stuck here, and there's nothing to do but tough it out, and close your eyes and eventually it'll be over. Since when does he care whether or not I give the wellness thing a try? His job is to keep me out of trouble, not to turn me into Nimbus Jr. Mention cucumber soup again, I promise, and I'll tell Vlad you attacked me with a cattle prod. He grins appreciatively. At least he still has a sense of humor. You're a smart kid, he persists. You have to see that you're starting to enjoy yourself. You're spending more time outside. You're making friends. Whoa, enjoy myself? Sure, the days I don't feel 8 years long anymore now that I've got needles to look after, and the gas pains have been less now that I'm mixing a little real food into the veggie palooza. Still, I have to call baloney on the friend thing. Yeah, it's better to hang out with people than to be bored and talking to yourself, but Grace flat out hates me. Brooklyn? Wouldn't trust her as far as I could throw her. Tyrell? He's a good guy, but he would have talked to me in the first place if my name wasn't Baronoff. Listen, Jet, Matt says reasonably, I'm not going to take your candy away. I'm not even going to ask you where you got it. You're a kid with a million opportunities. Just consider the possibility that being at the Oasis is one of those opportunities, and you're not going to take advantage of it by gorging on chocolate when nobody's looking. Fair enough? I don't respond. Consider it? Yeah, for a millionth of a second. Matt favors me with a gentle smile worthy of Nimbus himself. Be whole. And he wanders out of the kitchen, leaving me clutching my candy bars, my jaw halfway to the floor. Are you serious? I choke. If I didn't know better, I'd swear the Fuego Wonder Boy Matt Laganis is turning into another Oasis cheerleader. It almost makes sense. Vlad always talks about the burnout rate among Silicon Valley up-and-comers who struggle to get ahead by staying at their desk long into the night, writing code and ordering greasy takeout burgers and breakfast burritos. They get no sleep or exercise, survive on junk food, and live in pressure cooker. Then there's Oasis, which is zero stress, healthy eating, and exercise up to wazoo, along with a steady dose of Nimbus and Ivory who act like they have all the answers. It's easy to see how frazzled Fuego employee might buy in. What's happening to Matt?